Welcome back to another video, and today with the Google Pixel Watch 3, which we can see the hours, minutes, seconds in some watch faces, the date, steps, and basically that is it. So hope that you enjoyed. Nah, just kidding. We can install a lot of apps from the Google Play Store. We can listen to music, make phone calls and receive them, unlock our phone, control our phone to take pictures and videos, navigate through Google Maps without our phone nearby, and a lot more. So let's go and take a closer look at it. And if you are watching this video on your Windows 10 or 11 computer and you still haven't activated and can't even edit your desktop icons, don't forget to check out cdksales.com, where we can find budget official OEM keys at an affordable price, and with the coupon code that you can see on screen and down below on the video description, it will get even cheaper. And besides Windows 11 Pro, if you are looking for Windows 10 or even an Office suite that we can aggregate directly to our Microsoft account, you can use the same coupon code, which will give you the best price possible at this moment. So just in case, the link will be down below. The Pixel Watch 3 comes in two sizes: 41mm, which is the model that I've got right over here, and there's also a version of 45mm. I will leave the link down below so that you can check all the specifications. So if you are looking for something a bit bigger on your wrist, probably that's the one you want. This one is the same size of the Pixel Watch 2, but it has an improvement: 16% less bezels, which makes this screen a bit larger than the previous. In terms of brightness, it has twice the amount of the last generation, which is 2000 nits. It is a lot. 60 Hz refresh rate, and this just means that I can use the watch anywhere, even in situations where the sun is shining a lot, directly without any issues whatsoever. Another thing that I did notice during some tests is that even with the watch dirty with sand and some grease, we can still see really well. And if by any chance you can see a black line passing through some images, it's just because of the refresh rate, which is different from the watch and the device that it's capturing. And this happens basically or more often outside with the sun. For example, if you see it right over here with artificial light, it's not doing that. So it's not an issue with the phone, it's not an issue with the camera, it's an issue with the refresh rate and the sun. The Bracelet System is probably the best system that I've used. If you have used a Pixel Watch, then you already know what I'm talking about. But instead of using those old watch pins, it has a system that will close automatically and open when we want by pressing a button, which is really awesome and secure. It has the latest operating system, Google Wear OS 5.0. It has a CPU, the Snapdragon W5 Generation 1, 2GB of RAM and 32GB of storage, which is great if we want to install a lot of apps, which I believe that we do. And in terms of apps, we can install anything that is available on the Play Store. In my personal opinion, perhaps the most interesting ones for this type of device is Spotify, which will allow us to listen to music directly on the watch, or even WhatsApp, which if we want we can answer through the keyboard, which is not my favorite. But what is my favorite and more comfortable is sending audios from the watch to any person. Or even if we want to install, I don't know, a speed measurement app like Velocity GPS or sports apps like Strava. But talking about sports, we will dive in just a few moments, along with the heart rate measurements and a few more details like GPS. But before we do, if you want to unlock your phone with the Google Pixel Watch 3, we can. We just need to have it near the phone and it will unlock it automatically. So we can forget about face detection, the pin or the pattern. It will just automatically detect, unlock, and that will be it. Now, this is one of the optional things that I can enable or disable. Besides being able to unlock it, I can control it to take picture or videos. Now, if I want to take a photo, I just need to open the app on the Pixel Watch 3. It will open the photo app on the phone, and then I can choose which camera. If I want to use one of the rear cameras or front camera, we can also adjust the zoom. We can choose the photo or video mode that we want, and we can, of course, take the photo or start and stop the video. So really awesome feature that I believe that many will use when pairing the watch with the phone. And I believe that there's an option that I can record the video on the phone while using the Pixel Watch 3 audio, so I can use it and record. I believe that I did read it somewhere, but I've tried and so far I haven't been successful. So I would really appreciate if you have a Pixel Watch 3 and if you are using your phone to record, and if you manage to do that, leave a comment down below with the steps so that I can update. Now, one thing that I was able to do was to answer a call on the Pixel Watch 3, which is really easy. We can answer and use the watch to talk and to listen on that call. But if we want to make the call from the watch itself, we can as well. We just need to go to the app and then select the contact that we want. Bam, and there we go, it will go. Now, this version is a 4G LTE. I live in Portugal, and at the moment of the recording, the carrier that I use, it's not available yet on the Pixel Watch 3. This is something that I want to try out as soon as it comes. Depending on the country that you live, you will be able to enable that or not and use it without having your phone nearby, doing calls, receiving data, and so on and so forth. So this is something that will depend on the area that we live. But talking about the usability of the watch, let's take a quick look on how easy it is to use it. And now to see how easy it is to use the Google Pixel Watch 3. So if I slide down, I have the most common options right over here, like Google Home. I can connect to other devices so that I can send the information about my heart rate and so on and so forth. We also have the common options, but there are two here really interesting. This is the bedtime. So if I press it right over here, it will put it on bedtime, and it will only allow a few calls if I start them and so on and so forth. So if I press here, it will go in starting bedtime mode, which is really cool. But there is one more, and let me get out of bedtime mode. This one right over here, if I bring my Google Pixel 9 Pro here, we will see that the non-disturb is off. But if I press here to turn it on, it will turn on my watch, but it will also turn on the phone, which is really cool. If I want to turn it off, there we go. Really awesome detail right over here. Now, if I press here, we will have more options so that we can customize anything that we want. If I push up, then we have all the notifications, which I can delete, for example, individually, or I can clear them all. Let's move out. And then if I turn, or if I slide left or right, it will cycle through. So if I go right over here, it will show me the steps, but with the steps or anything that we will see in a few moments, it will give me a lot more details. So for today, it will show me the steps, the hours where I was more active, the total number, this week, if I did achieve my goals or not. So a lot of information here on the watch, and of course I can open on the phone as well. Now if we move out here and go to the next one, it will show me the heart rate, which at this moment is 71. But if once again, if I press it, it will show me a lot more details about not only today but this week, the time that I did spend on the several zones while I was doing my exercise and so on and so forth, which is really interesting. Next is the quick start for the exercises, which for me shows me the last 3 that I used: running, tennis, which is not tennis, I do play paddle, which I did used for about 5 or 6 sessions right now, but there is no paddle, so I have to use tennis. And then finally rowing as well. But if you do any other sport, you will have everything, well, almost everything. Paddle is not here, so you'll have to use tennis like myself in case you play paddle. Now the next is the sleep menu, which like the others will show me the hours, from where until which hour, the score that I got, and if I press, it will show me a lot more details like we have seen with the heart rate and so on. So the areas where I did sleep, or the zones to be more precise, and the weekly average and so on and so forth, which is really cool as well. Let's move on. And here the calendar, which tomorrow here in Portugal will be the release of the Google Pixel Watch 3, so I've got it on my calendar. I thought it would be cool, but you may have all your calendar here and you can access it. Here we have the Google Assistant, which we can add shortcuts right over here. I already did add this one, or I can just press, how's the weather today?
Today in Portugal, it'll be sunny. with a forecast
And there we go. Really, really cool. But talking about Google Assistant, I want to show you one more thing. Here we have the weather, and then we have also the last menu, which I will show you a B-roll right over there that already records. If we download the maps to our phone, for example, we can use offline maps, which is really, really cool. And if we don't, we can use it with our phone without looking at the phone. We can just follow the maps on our watch, which is really nice. So a really welcomed feature. Now moving to the front screen again, or the face watch. Besides being able to change the face watch, which there are a ton included here, or we can download a lot more, but this one, for example, that I was using, which is this one right over here, I did already change it because it was not like this. If I press here on the editing, and then if I select here, it will allow me to choose all these that we see right over here. So this initially was my heart rate. If I press right over here, I can just select what I want, and original was the cardio load. We can select calories or battery or whatever we want, but in this particular case I did select Google Assistant, so it's really cool in my opinion. So if I go to the home screen, I know that I can change all this, and you can change according to your needs, but if I press here, I will go, how's the weather today?
Today in Partial, it'll be sunny.
Okay, so a very original question, but it's cool that I can change all this. This shortcut will go to the Fitbit app, but if I want, I can change it to anything else, to, I don't know, just use your imagination. Really, really cool and easy to use, as you have seen. One more last is, if I press the crown, it will give me to the app drawer, which I can change to list view or to tiles, which is the way that I prefer. And then we have a lot of applications here, and of course we can search for Google Play Store and install a lot more apps. 32 gigs to play around, so it's plenty. And basically this is the way that we can use Google Pixel Watch 3. Moving to sports. We can use apps like Google Fit, which will give us a lot of info. We can also use apps like Strava or similar, but it is optimized to be used with the Fitbit app. So when we open the app, we will have a lot of information. Now in large, we will see the intensity of the exercise, my cardio load, and the readiness score. And of course, this is also the preparation for physical activities that I have on that particular day. And we can open them individually, and we will see in more detail each one of them with information of the day, but also weekly, monthly, and yearly. Just below, it has three icons. The first one shows the exercises that we did in the week, and if we click it, it will show in detail each one of them. It also shows the hours we slept, and if we click, all the details will show right over there in terms of hours, in terms of the patterns. And then lastly, it has the steps that, once again, when we press, it will have a lot more details, like the hours where we were more active and so on and so forth. Now scrolling down, we will find more information about the activities that we did. For example, today I done a running session, and it will show the distance, the map, the duration, speed, heart rate, which we can click, and it will show in detail the heart rate at the precise time of the exercise. Besides that, it also shows the effort zones of each exercise. Of course, depending on the sport that we do, it will have the details for that sport. In my particular case, running sessions, rowing machine, paddle sessions, and basically that is it. It has IP68 protection and 5 ATM, and I've been using it on everywhere that I go. If I want to go for a swim on the pool or at the beach, I will do so without any issues whatsoever. Regarding the heart rate measurement, usually I use a chest strap so that I can compare with several devices, and the Pixel Watch 3 was no exception. Now what I did notice is that the results are identical at all intensity levels. What may vary from app to app are the sometimes intensity zones. On one app are only 4, on the other app might be 5, but the average heart rate is very similar, and the maximum and lowest is very similar, just 1 or 2 values of difference. And if we take a closer look at both apps, even the instantaneous values are very similar. Now, talking about heart rate, it's also capable of doing ECG or electrocardiogram, which analyzes our heart rhythm, and if there's anything wrong, it will indicate and we can share it with our doctor. Another area that it's really interesting to me is the GPS. Now, I did test out, and on my tests running, jogging, on my bike, I only saw a small failure here and there, and was about 1 or 2 meters. Now you can see one of my b-rolls of a run that I did. Actually, it was this morning, and I obviously didn't run over water, as you can see right over there. It was about 1 or 2 meters to the side, but other than that, always very accurate. So for those that want to run or want to ride a bike, want to track the exercise, walking for example, expect to have a really cool GPS. But if by any reason at any moment you see that there's a meter away, it's a meter away. Actually, if we don't zoom in on the map like I did to show you, you won't notice that you are 1 meter away, and this is really cool. Now on the maps we can use it offline, and for that I just need to download the maps on my phone, and I will be able to access on the watch. If I have the phone with me, I can navigate with the watch without getting the phone out of my pocket, which is cool as well. Instead of going like this on the street, I can just go with my watch on the wrist, and that's actually a cool thing. There's also a morning brief, which I did find it really interesting, especially to give us an incentive or boost to do something, even if it's only a walk. Battery wise, it will last up to 1 day, which I've been using for the past 1 week and 2 days or so, and that's about what I'm getting. Now this will depend on how we use it. If you do a lot of sports with GPS, then expect to have a little bit less. If you don't do a lot of sports with GPS, then expect to have a little bit more. For example, paddle or tennis, which it doesn't use the GPS, I don't feel the battery being drained more than I feel when I'm running. So just have that in mind. And if we use the energy saver, it will be able to last up to 36 hours, which is also really cool. Now, the coolest part is that if I charge it for 24 minutes, it will give me 50% of battery. And if I charge it for 1 hour, 100% of battery. And although this is a really small device, there are a lot more things that we could talk and we could see and that I could share with you. But this is it for today. If you still have any questions, any doubts, anything that you want to see more in depth, please leave down below in the comment section. I will try as best as I can to share an update with you. That being said, hope that the video was helpful in some way, and if it was, don't forget the usual thumbs up right over there, which is really appreciated on this side of the screen. My name is Roberto, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.